I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will the clerk please read the statement?
This is the meeting of the Township Council for Monday, February 11, 2019. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 3, 2019, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and JSA 10:4-7.
Roll call.
Councilmember Coombs? Here. Councilmember Kadish is not present. Councilmember Van Tassel? Not present. Councilmember Allberger?
Here.
Council President Murphy?
Here. Please rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You think we have some promotions going on this evening?
I would say one or two, but it's a lot more than that.
Well, retiring Chief Randy Mills, please step forward. And our incoming chief, Dan Young.
Please, sir. First of all, thank you all for coming. You guys really look sharp. This is a special night tonight. Of course, we have the promotions, but we're also formally saying happy retirement to my good friend Randy. I didn't prepare anything, Randy, because I want it to come from my heart. So thank you.
I did prepare something, but it's still coming from my heart. First, we'd like to give this as a sign and token of our appreciation to Chief Mills. It's all of his badges. It was put together by retired Captain Steve Moran. He's here somewhere. Thank you, Steve. We'd like to thank you for all your years of service to Vernon Township, and your leadership and your guidance has got us where we are today. Take a second to give a little history on Chief Mills. He started with Vernon Police Department in 1990 as a patrol officer. While he was assigned to the patrol division, he spent time as a school resource officer and a DARE instructor. In 1998, he was assigned to the Detective Bureau. In 2002, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. In 2010, he was promoted to lieutenant. And in November of 2013, he was appointed as the chief of police. On a personal level, he's also a past member of the Vernon Township Ambulance Squad and the McAfee Fire Department. And he served as the director of the Vernon Police Athletic League for 19 years, from 1994 to 2013. He was trained as a computer internet crime expert and has received training from the FBI, Secret Service, and the National White Collar Crime Center on computer and internet crimes. Needless to say, a lot of experience and education is walking out the door, but we wish you nothing but the best. Thank you very much.
Yes. Now we'll do some swearing in. You have to remember to look at me when we do it, when your families come up. So bring your families, please. I,
Dan B. Young,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear, affirm,
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
as Police Chief of the Vernon Township Police Department,
as Police Chief of the Vernon Township Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief.
Congratulations.
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 She's got to be
Well, one time, just one time.
I told this story before. When I first met Dan, he was pumping gas at the gas station on top of Drew Road before Drew Mountain Road. And he said someday he wanted to be a cop. He was only in high school now. Look at him. Chief of police. So great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I didn't prepare anything formal, so I'm just, as Harry said, I'm just going to speak from my heart. This has been a long journey getting here, and I certainly didn't get here by myself. Without my wife, I couldn't even imagine doing this. She takes care of our family and our kids. I come home late, I leave in the middle of the night, constant phone calls, missed holidays, and nothing but, yeah, honey, I know you got to go. I could not have done this without her. Thank you so much. A couple more people I gotta thank, and I'll be on my way. My parents for instilling the values and ethics in me my whole life, giving me guidance. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. And I appreciate it, and I use those in all the decisions that I make right now. Right through my career, I think about those core values that were instilled in me, and they really help me to guide me to make good decisions. And I take most of the advice my parents get, not all of it. Sometimes my dad tells me, why do things once when you can do it twice? I'm going to try not to apply that one. But on a serious note, there's also a lot of police officers, Vernon police officers that are retired that are here tonight. They were an integral part of me developing into the police officer that I am. My field training officers, I know they're here. I'm not sure where they're at tonight, but retired Lieutenant Danny Zill, retired Sergeant Scott Wallach, retired Detective Sergeant Sean Tall. They were my initial three field training officers, and they really instilled things in me that I've carried through my whole career. I've had a lot of help along the way besides that. Brian Jernick and John Bonitz. Trying to think of everybody as I'm standing here looking at all your faces. But thank you to everybody that's helped me along the way. Most importantly, I want to thank all the police officers that stand with me tonight. They're the core of our department, and without them, this place wouldn't run nearly as well as it does. So thank you, guys. Okay, so. All right, we're going to move on to the next promotion, which is Captain Keith Kukowski. But before I do that, I just want to tell you a quick story about Captain Kukowski and myself. He has no idea I'm going to do this to him, so he's going to love this. So, a personal note about Keith and I was about 7.5 years ago, I got a phone call from him. And he says to me, I'm inbound to Chilton Hospital. His wife was pregnant. She just went into labor. Now, she was due actually after my wife was due, which was almost the same exact time. And he says to me, Dan, you better hurry up and get here. So needless to say, 12 hours later, my wife went into labor. So I called Keith. I said, get our bedroom ready there, because we're coming. So that next morning, we delivered our daughter, and both of our daughters ended up in the little nursery area, side by side. Keith and I were standing there looking through the window. It's a moment I'll never forget, a moment of pride. And if you ask our daughters, they'll tell you they met their best friend the day they were born, which is pretty cool, because not too many people can say that. Jenny, you want some more?
Now that I'm crying.
Happy tears.
Little history about Captain Kukowski just before we swear him in. He was born and raised in Vernon Township. He's a Vernon Township High School graduate. He enlisted in the Army and is a veteran who served in Operation Desert Storm, and he achieved the rank of sergeant. He lives in Vernon with his wife, Jen, and has 4 children, Shaylin, Samantha, Nate, and Julia. He was hired by the Vernon Township Police Department in August of 1995 and assigned to the Patrol Division. He was the PBA president from 2000 to 2008. He was the Officer of the Year in 2006. He was a school resource officer and dare officer from 2003 to 2010. He was assigned to the Detective Bureau in June 2010, then promoted to the rank of sergeant in November 2010. He was promoted to the rank of lieutenant in March 2015. He oversees our alcohol and beverage control regulations in Vernon Township. He's a dispatcher. He was in charge of dispatching records from 2016 to present. He unfortunately just gave that up. And he's also in charge of all of our Oprah. He implemented a couple programs. One of them was the Crash.doc program, so people can get their motor vehicle crash reports online. It's been a huge help. He's also a certified humane law enforcement officer. And on a personal level, he's very active in the community. He's a youth football coach, a basketball coach, a baseball coach, and he's also on the PAL Board of Trustees. And although I know Keith is a dear friend, but at the same time, he's an excellent right-hand man. I can't wait to work side by side with him. He's going to do a great job.
Okay.
I, Keith Kinkowski,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
as captain of the Vernon Township Police Department
as captain of the Vernon Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Captain.
So the ladies have fun.
Don't look, anyone. We get 'em.
Mom, watch out.
Sure.
Not here tonight. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'll tell him.
See, Jason Hall just got a little more nervous because now he's coming to do his speech. So before I call his family up, I'm going to tell a little story about Jay. So 30 years ago, the Vernon Township School District redesigned their map to determine what roads went to what schools. So I did 5th grade in Lounsbury Hollow Middle School. Then I switched to Glen Meadow in 6th grade. So where my street was, I got on the bus and there was a whole bunch of brand new faces. I didn't even know who they were. So as I got on the bus and I was walking to the back of the bus, I was looking for a seat to sit in, and there was an empty seat next to Jason. And he looks up at me, he's like, "Hey, you want to sit with me?" I said, "Sure." So I sat down, he says, "Hey, my name is Jay." I said, "I'm Dan." Next, 8th grade dances and high school proms and college together, and we even lived together for a while. And then we got hired on the same exact day. And throughout this whole journey, it's really been amazing, but couldn't imagine doing it without him. So we got a lot of history together. You see? Where's this? I didn't go to the prom with him. Lieutenant Jason Hall moved to Vernon Township when he was 10 years old. He's a graduate of the Vernon Township High School. As I just said, he graduated Montclair State University. He lives in Vernon with his wife Lisa and his children Caden and Sophia. He was hired by the Vernon Township Police Department in July of 2000. He graduated the Morris County Police Academy and was tied for #1 for the Physical Fitness Award. Assigned to the Patrol Division right after the Police Academy, and he was a field training officer. In 2006, he was assigned as the Traffic Officer in the Traffic Division. Then he was assigned to the Detective Bureau as the Juvenile Detective and the School Resource Officer in 2011. He was promoted to Sergeant in August of 2014 and assigned to the Detective Bureau as a Detective Sergeant in 2015. And he remained in that position until just now. On a personal level, he was named as Director of the PAL in August of 2013 and has served in that capacity ever since. And he also has coached Vernon Youth Soccer for the last 9 years.
I,
Jason Haw,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
as a lieutenant of the Vernon Township Police Department
as a lieutenant of the Vernon Township Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Please.
Yes, Miss Linda. Thanks, honey.
Congratulations.
Okay,
To reiterate, we did
congratulations.
not go to the front today.
Yes.
So unfortunately, Jay's parents couldn't make the trip north tonight from Florida due to some ongoing health issues. So I reached out to his mom, and I spoke with her yesterday. She asked me to say a couple words on her behalf. So I'm going to try to get through it. Vernon Township certainly knew what they were doing when they hired Jason Hall. We have seen your dedication, work ethic, and enthusiasm, and how it has been such an asset to the department as well as the community. As always, we are very proud of all your accomplishments, and we wish you much success as Lieutenant Hall. We're disappointed that we couldn't be there to celebrate with you as we have done in the past, but please know we are here in spirit. Love always, Mom and Dad. All right, I made it through that one. Wouldn't be right to not tell a story about Dan. So, before we go into the details for Dan. So, 15 years ago, where's Roy? Roy Weary, the retired chief. 15 years ago, I was sitting in the squad room for a 3 to 11 shift. And Chief Weary comes in to see me, and he says, "Hey Dan," he says, "I got to talk to you. We're thinking about hiring this new guy. There's just one little snag." I said, "What's that?" He says, "Well, his name's Dan Young." I said, "Oh boy, Chief." I said, "Oh, I'm not so sure about that. What if he turns out to be a bad guy? I'm going to get my name dragged through the mud." So he says, "Well, Dan, that could happen, but at the same time, he could turn out to be a great guy, right?" I said, "You know what? You're right. The glass is always Not full, Roy. So it took about 6 years for something to happen. And 6 years later, I went on a call. And as I'm on that call, I'm talking to this gentleman. And he looks at me and he looks down at my name tag and he says, "Huh, your son was here last night." So unfortunately for me, retired Sergeant Scott Wallace, who has given me every nickname I've ever gotten in this department, was with me. And that night I became Old Dan Young. And he became Young Dan Young. But I'm happy to report to you, Chief, after 15 years of working with Dan, I couldn't share my name with a greater guy. All right, Detective Sergeant Dan Young. He was born and raised in Vernon Township. He's a Vernon Township High School graduate. He attended the County College of Morris. He lives in Vernon with his fiancee Lindsay and his dog Cage. He was hired by the Vernon Township Police Department in March of 2003, and he graduated the Passaic County Police Academy and he was assigned to the Patrol Division. He was a field training officer, firearms instructor, an OC instructor. He's also got the accomplishment of the Gracie Academy graduate for survival tactics. He's a simunitions instructor, and he oversees our prescription drug program. He's been the PVA vice president from 2008 to present, and he was assigned to the Detective Bureau as a juvenile detective and a school resource officer in 2016, and has remained in that position until now.
I,
Daniel Young,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties as Sergeant
all the duties as Sergeant
of the Vernon Township Police Department
of the Vernon Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
We were supposed to practice this at home. Does that work?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So with Chief Mills' retirement, that also opened.
All right, that's how it's going to be?
Chief Mills' retirement, that also opened up a spot for us to hire a patrolman. So that patrolman is Nick Gonzalez. Can you please step forward? I really haven't gotten a chance to work with Nick yet, so I don't have any good stories. But I'm going to move on to some of his accomplishments. Nick Gonzalez moved to Vernon Township when he was 3 years old. He graduated the Vernon Township High School. He graduated magna cum laude with a major in history from William Patterson University. He lives in Vernon with his wife Jennifer. He was an E4 specialist with the Army National Guard and graduated infantry school in Fort Benning, Georgia. He attended the 88th police class at the Morris County Police Academy in 2017. Right after the academy, he was hired by Morris Township Police Department in June of 2017, where he worked until we hired him in December of 2018. We're excited that he's here, and I'm sure he's going to be an asset to our police department.
I
I, Nicholas D. Gonzalez,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
as a police officer
as a police officer
of the Vernon Township Police Department,
of the Vernon Township Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, with that, that concludes our promotions on our new hire tonight. I'd like to again thank the mayor, business administrator, and the council for your continued support as always. We appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. So what we'll do is we'll take like a 10-minute recess, so this way if you'd like to take pictures or, speak to your families, you may just. Motion to take recess?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, where are we going?
Proclamation.
Okay, we have a couple proclamations. We'll start with the first one, which is Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month affords special opportunity to become more knowledgeable. Just going to wait till the.
Close to the door.
I'll wait till the noise stops.
Might wait a half hour.
Took care of it. All right, I'll start all over. This proclamation is for Black History Month. Whereas Black History Month affords special opportunity to become more knowledgeable about Black heritage and to hone the many Black leaders who have contributed to the progress of our nation. Whereas such knowledge can strengthen the insight of all our citizens regarding the issues of human rights, the great strides that have been made in the crusade to eliminate the barriers of equality for minority groups, and the continuing struggle against racial discrimination and poverty. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Vernon that February 2019 shall be proclaimed Black History Month in the Township of Vernon, and urge our residents to join together in making this period of rededication to the principles of justice and equality for all people. February 2019 as Black History Month. Signed, Harry J. Shortway, Mayor, Gene Murphy, Council President. Mayor, if you could read the Special Olympics proclamation.
For Special Olympics Month, and I did attend this ceremony last week, and it really is something special to watch, and it's even when I'm not mayor, I am still going to go to it because it just really reaches into your heart. Whereas the Special Olympics is founded on the belief that people with intellectual disabilities can, with proper instruction and encouragement, learn, enjoy, and benefit from participation in individual and team sports, adapted as necessary to meet the needs of those with special intellectual and physical limitations. And whereas Special Olympic events provide youngsters with individual challenges and the inner satisfaction of success and accomplishments. And whereas the Special Olympics have been competing in Vernon for 4 decades, and genuine Jersey pride defines Special Olympics New Jersey, which celebrates the impact they have on all who participate, as well as those privileged to witness the magic every time an athlete with an intellectual disability takes to the slopes, reaches a goal, achieves a personal best time, or simply experiences the joy of participation. And whereas Special Olympics helps each youngster learn to play hard and compete to the fullest so as to achieve a success cycle and overcome the pattern of failure and frustration that often plagues mentally challenged youngsters who have not had the opportunity to play, practice, compete, and achieve. And whereas the Special Olympics helps each youngster develop self-respect, self-discipline, self-confidence, physical, social, emotional, and mental fitness, positive values such as sportsmanship, responsibility to team and respect for others, the will to succeed, and the ability to achieve their maximum potential. Now, therefore, the Council of the Township of Vernon do hereby proclaim February as Special Olympics Month in Vernon Township. And we thank the participants of the Special Olympics for choosing Vernon to hold their events. Given under my hand in these free United States in the Township of Vernon on this 11th day of February, 2019, and to which I've caused the seal of the Township of Vernon to be affixed and have made this proclamation public, signed by myself, Harry J. Shortway, Mayor, and Gene Murphy, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we move on to public comment. May I have a motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If there's anyone from the public that would like to step forward that have any comment on any agenda items, please. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move a couple things around on the agenda. First of all, the items for discussion, the part-time employee hours, we'll remove that, and we'll be discussing that item at each of the budget meetings. And then what I'd like to do is take Resolution 1979, and if we could just move that up right now.
Yes.
Resolution 1979 is the appointment of our police chief. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 1979?
Motion.
May I have a second? Roll call?
Councilmember Ooms?
Yes.
Councilmember Allberger?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 1979. Congratulations, Chief.
Congratulations. So if you choose to leave now to join your family. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, now we're going to have a presentation on the Town Center Trail. So,
Yes, please. Thank you for this opportunity. The Vernon Township Center Trail. A lot of work has gone into this, a lot of planning.
do you want some lights off, maybe?
Yeah, that might be.
There's,
Thank you, Larry. Good.
Yep.
Popcorn? I like those little chocolate candies. There's been a long history of this planning, and it goes back as far as 1995, but I want to just also, with the history, some of the most recent plans. The Highlands Regional Financial Feasibility Analysis. A town center requires creating a market. We really know there's not going to be any corporations coming to Vernon. We lack the infrastructure. We lack the roadways. It simply means to provide a product that does not currently exist The product is a walkable, mixed-use town center. We want to develop the vacant and underutilized properties. We're looking to develop the Township Black Creek lot. That's 15 acres. Currently, we store some materials there for our DPW. And we would develop this for trails, the art walk, and also parking. It would connect the town center and resorts via bikeway trail system, including sidewalks on paved roads. One thing you have to understand about trails, they grow constantly. When I looked at the one down in Tennessee, when my daughter was at the University of Tennessee, theirs is over 30 miles, and it's been going on for 38 years. It just gets bigger and bigger and incorporates the whole city. We want to connect business with people with local businesses. We have to get the market in there. We have to capture these people, and then the businesses will do better and will grow. Next. In 1995, that's how long back we go, the township benefits from an internal open space network. The system would consist of walking or bicycle trails, connect residential areas with open space and recreation facilities. It's one thing Vernon has. We have open space. We have the beauty of nature. In March 2010, the Township of Vernon Open Space and Recreation Plan, the update, and this is on page 42, designate road bicycle routes. It said create a trails plan that incorporates hiking, running, cross-country skiing, road cycling, leisure cycling in the township with the purpose of connectivity between the various public lands, resorts, and amenities. We want to bring it all together. Then I found this right after I took office, the County Open Space and Recreation Plan in November of 2015. And these are a list of people that were on that committee. And it had a bike trail as a priority to complete. So this has been going on since 1995, and we're so close to making this a reality. In 2018, the Economic Development Advisory Committee took a survey of Vernon residents, workers, and residents of nearby municipalities. 349 people participated. The majority viewed Vernon to be a designation offering nature activities, passive recreation, within a pedestrian, biking, friendly town center consisting of mom-and-pop restaurants and tap rooms. So with the help of this council, I tried to get this to a referendum in 2010, 2011, was unsuccessful, but this council allowed it to go to referendum, and it was to use up to 30% of the Open Space Trust Fund with the council's approval on how it is spent. It allows funds for creation and maintenance of public pathways for hiking, biking, and horseback riding trails. The measure passed, as you see, 4,915 to 3,996. And as you know, that's what I ran on. That was one of the main parts of my platform when I ran, was this economic driver being passive recreation. The Open Space Trust account, $810,352.01. 30% of that amount is $243,000, $105.60. That is what is open now that people voted for to start developing this system. Sustainable Economic Plan, the Development Plan, draft 2019. And again, this was done with the Highlands grant. Public outreach sessions were conducted in 2018. The township's trail system must play a key role in the continued success of events, pairing recreational walks and races with complementary same-day cultural events in the town center or agricultural festivals at local farms will expose visitors to Vernon's offerings, and we're looking at those small businesses. I've traveled throughout the country over the last 12 years, chasing my kids where they go to school and through the military, and time and time again, whether it's in California, Florida, up and down the eastern seaboard, or Colorado, this is what you find. And where these trails are taken care of and they expand, you see all these small mom-and-pop businesses. I often talk about Steamboat as the model. We'll never have the skiing that Steamboat has, but they have the rafting, and they have the biking, the cycling, and they develop the shoulder seasons. And Steamboat, it's just booming. The Sustainable Economic Development Plan strategies, we need to identify areas with strong connection to trails and means to attract food and drink businesses. Let's face it, people eat and drink all the time. It's just a fact of life. We were talking earlier about Montclair, and what Montclair has done with all the different restaurants. We were talking about Cuban Pete. You can't even get in the place. It's so good. We need to market our local businesses and, again, analyze the Shop Vernon program. Again, 69% of the 322 residents who had taken the initial Greenway survey believe a Greenway can be an economic driver. They picked up some additional people, but when the Economic Committee gave me this was, at first, this was their results. Volunteers have worked hard blazing the future trail system. John, you may recognize this. This is off the Sandhill, the old dump, right? And we're just pulling tires and garbage throughout the town. There's a car down there. There's washing machines down there. And what we've been doing through volunteers and Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, the GAC committee, the recreation committees, we've been blazing trails, finding pathfinders, so to speak. Where can we bring these trails? Where can we get them built? Town center bike and walking trail, we believe we should focus here in the center at first, in the town center, to help the businesses in the town center. It'll be approximately 1 mile bike and walking trail. We want to begin at the municipal complex, travel through the PAL property, and then to the west on easements to municipal properties on Black Creek Drive. And Josh's firm is already looking at the easements to include the walking on it. We own the trails above, the easements above the municipal, the MUA pipes. And that's where we would focus right there. This is the GAC committee put this together. This is a very aggressive timeline. As you can see, preliminary design complete, which I'll have a map on it. We'd like public information, what I'm doing right now. We wanted a design complete, which we need the money for the engineer to see exactly what we need to do. We got to bid it out, put out the RFPs. They'll come back. Any contracts that need to be signed, the council again has to approve it and study it. We would like to begin the construction in April, complete it by August. Originally, it said July 1st. You know, it's going to be rainy. You never know what you're going to hit during the construction. There's always overruns. And then we'd like to shoot for September 1st. Any later than that, there are certain areas we'd like to pave only because ADA compliant, wheelchairs, baby strollers, etc. The price of asphalt traditionally goes up as you get near the end of the season. And again, it's hard to see, but it's basically, the next one would be better. There's Dunkin' Donuts up there would be the town center. You can see the Omega and Theta, that little rectangle coming down back here to Black Creek Drive, where the solar panels are. It's a tremendous view, and I'll add some more pictures in there that you'll see it. Next one. And there you see the loop. And again, the idea is to also take it out to Vernon Crossing Road. That would be to the right. We're looking at, somebody's willing to donate the property to us for $1. But that's what we're looking at. You'll see some other pictures. The volunteers have really blazed this trail. We've been out there with the hand tools, keeping it clean. Can we bring a trail here? What are we going to discover to make it easier for the bids in the hope of saving money and getting this done by September 1st? Construction concerns. Steep portions of the trail will be paved because you don't want all that runoff, the heavy rain. If you put down dust and stuff, it's just going to wash away. The loop will be paved to be ADA compliant. That would be on our property right now. It's 15 acres. The rest would be trail stone dust. Eliminate some paved areas if possible to reduce costs. We're looking to do 10 feet wide for emergency vehicle access. That could be narrowed down to 8 feet, but I think we should originally plan for the 10 feet to make it wider. And again, our engineer will look at this, the RFPs will go out, and the council will then be looking at any contracts and voting on those. This is, you see the PAL section going there. Some of those weeds at one time were almost 6-7 foot high. We went in there and by hand we've cut them down, and then we received a $2,000 grant that went over what we couldn't get down to smooth it out. Next. Then this is south towards Black Creek. We're looking down and you can see it's already how much is clear. John and I had a brief conversation about this. There's not going to be a lot of like cutting down trees and stuff. The volunteers have gone through what is the easiest way to get this through. Next. This is north from Black Creek Drive to the PAL, and you can see it's almost a direct line right there. That's where you get the machine in. And again, I'm not an engineer, I'm not the construction guy, but you can see the work that the volunteers have done getting this to go. And again, this is the view, Black Creek Drive across the valley. Looking at, that's a magnificent wetlands, all kinds of wildlife in there, but that's the view we'd be looking at all the way across. And then this is on Black Creek Drive itself. Again, the lower part, you can see where we blazed a trail there, and that would be in the loop in there around the property. We really don't want to cut down any trees. There's enough room all throughout this that we can find a path and bring a path without cutting down trees. Again, because you're going to want shade in certain areas, and like we found this old park right here, right? I didn't even know the boardwalk there. I mean, probably John knew it was there.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there, and then we found it. You want a place for shade and put the benches and et cetera. Estimated cost for initial trail construction, the project construction, we're looking at $170,000. Engineering, project bidding, $9 grand. Construction, inspection, administration, and material testing, $6,000. Total project cost, $185,000. Of course, we're always going to try to save money. And if we can't do the 10-foot and we narrow it down to 8-foot, again, I believe we should shoot big, and then we can make amendments as we go on. Maintenance, trail will need to be maintained on a yearly basis. What we're looking at really, QP, it's not a lot of maintenance. You may want to mow the grass alongside of it like they do down at Maple Grange. If we make this smooth enough, it's just one run down, one run back. Repairs to the trail may be required, of course, if you have severe weather. Even Maple Grange right now, if you walk around it, it's alligatoring, and the edges are now starting to collapse. But it's been almost, I guess, 12 years, John, would you say?
Yep.
About 12 years, so it's time. And this is high, recommended at $5,000 per year. In previous reports I gave to the council, it's probably realistically going to be about $2,100 to $2,300 a year for this, but it's best to plan high. I'd rather be that conservative that we have the money, and that way in the future we can keep maintaining it. You can see the volunteers again. This is back on the Sand Hill section where we've been doing it, believe it or not, with lawnmowers and weed whackers. We periodically go out and we do it ourselves. And then this is just the Girl Scouts came in and they made these little signs and they put them all up. And here's where I got in trouble with the DEP because I laid 2 boards across the stream so they could get across the street and hang their birdhouses and these little signs. So it's been so far a lot of community, different sections of the community, a lot of ages. I mean, Gene, you were out there the one time with us in the summer. It's not always so fun with the bugs and the poison ivy and stuff, but
Ticks.
and the ticks. You go home and you're just covered with ticks, but we get it done. Okay, and that's it, generally speaking, on it. But the reality of this is, it's up to the council because you oversee the money, you approve the money, you have the purse strings, and where you want to go with it, it is to the council. But I pledge the assistance of myself, my administration, the GAC, our volunteers, and our trailblazers to help. Just give us direction. We're putting it out there, but that's the nuts and bolts of it if we can go forward. Thank you.
I have a question. The total amount of money, was the money for the Massacre Marsh already removed from that total?
I'd have to go
Because-
back. I don't know. Do you know, Donnell, offhand, if it was removed?
I don't know.
We could check on
I'm just, right, because...
that should be closing soon.
Right, and I knew that it should be closing soon, so I was just wondering if that, because I guess I thought that there was actually a little bit more money in there, in that account.
I actually think it is, but I don't want to commit and say
Right.
yes, and then I find out it wasn't, because I
Yeah.
thought we were closer to 900,000.
Yeah.
The original estimates were at 230 to start this, and I said, how we knock it down? We knocked it down at 185,000 because we want to leave room
Right.
for cost overruns or any problems we do run into. Plus, like you said, the Massacre Marsh, in
Right.
case there's any more additional funds needed to.
Right, I
close
just
on it.
was wondering, because like I said, I know we still have plenty of money in there. Just wondered if that had already been removed and allocated towards that, since I know it's getting ready to close soon.
And I don't think we've bought anything probably for about 15 or 18 years.
We've only done, I think, appraisals.
I mean, I think 78% of Vernon right now is open space or protected, or you can't develop. And of course, we're in the highlands, so I don't know how much more development we'll ever see unless, hopefully, it's in the town center or it's on the Mountain Creek properties, but being in the highlands has really restricted any development in our township.
Yeah, council members have questions?
What about any grant money for this?
We look at the grants. We have no one in the town that can write the grants unless we go out and we hire somebody. I mean, I'm trying to do one myself, but between the budget and stuff, I just don't have the time. We don't have the personnel to do it. We've looked at in the past, I think in 2010, 2011, we had a grant firm. I think we paid them about $50,000 a year to hunt for grants. We thought it best at that time because of the financial restrictions. Remember, that's right past 2008. We dismissed them. I'm always asked, hey, from different companies, will you hire us? And financially, we just can't. And we're not going to hire someone just to write grants. It's not wise now. Do we look? Yes, they're highly competitive.
What happened to our gentleman that we hired? His name is escaping me. What about that company that took over for the, why can't I?
Oh, Greener by Design.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, they're looking at grants. We can get them to write them. We got to make sure we're competitive. But the problem is with a lot of these grants, you need a project to be going. So this would be going. And then they always want a contribution,
Right.
a match.
And this.
Match. So
Even the county has some money that's available, but like I said, we have to get through our massacre project first, because we're getting some money from there, so we have to get through that first before we go asking for more. And I know that they're coming up with some grant money like this year, even for small projects, if you wanted to, maybe put in a bench or just something. So there's always something there, but we really need to get the massacre property set aside before even they would, I would think, before they would look at us.
and the attorneys are, I don't know what stage they're in, but there's been agreement. It's been tested. I'm talking about Massacre Marsh now. It's got a clean bill of health now, and we're just waiting for the date to close.
Are we waiting for their side to close, or is it on our side?
I don't know where it
Okay.
is right now with the
The
attorneys.
attorneys were put together
Okay.
roughly about almost 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
But the money, my point being, the money has been sitting there,
right.
and we haven't done anything with it, and yet, and since 1995, we've been talking about walking trails, bike trails. It's an
Yeah.
economic driver, and we've really done nothing.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
Do you have any?
So for grants, you're still looking possibly for this project or no?
Not for this, we need to start, because one of the things, we found this with Massacre Marsh, they'll say, do you have a project going? We don't. We don't have any projects moving right now. There's nothing.
So you're saying once
This would start.
once this project starts, and then as it progresses, start applying for grant money to show this is where we've taken it, and now we're applying for more to go further with it?
Right, because we think we can get all the way out to Warren Drive, I would think in the next year or two. And of course, we always want to get the grants. It's better to do it with other people's money. Even with this project, we've also looked at using some of the DPW workers and some, like John and I were speaking about. But you could see that we really have planned it, and the parts of the GAC committee are here. We don't want to be out there cutting down trees. We can find places to get in there, and we really, by foot, have walked through this. At one time, we almost lost an ATV because we hit a gorge we didn't know was there because the weeds on the MUA, where the pipes were, hid it from us. But lucky we were able to get the machine out of there. So once we have a project, we say a project is now committed, the township is committed to it, because right now we're not committed. We have this money that's been sitting there since, 2005, whatever, and we haven't committed it to any projects. And the people have said they're ready to do this. They want something done.
I will say too, if there's a concern, if he did get grants, if the township was able to receive grant money, we could do a Chapter 159 after the budget, and then set aside that appropriation to take care of some of those payments.
We did apply to some grants down for this section down here, and we didn't win. We just didn't get them. It goes on and on. You connect all the different communities around. And it's not going to be done this year or finished in 5 years from now. It's going to be an ongoing process. I mean, you really would like to hook up like Storm Estates, you hook up into the schools. I'd like to see it go from the New York border all the way through the county properties, right to the Delaware Water Gap. And that's the trail systems. When I've talked to the different organizations, that's what they're looking at. And eventually, I'd like to tie the AT trail, because it's the day hikers is really what we want to get in. The through hikers that are going, they're not going to deviate so much here. to come and spend their money here. But you'll get the day, and we know the people come. It's not like we're going to build it and come. They are coming. Remember
Packed
when
today.
we first started here on the council, the parking problems we had at the Appalachian, the trail. That's been solved, 94. There's these, it's been kind of cooled off down there, but there's still all kinds of people coming. And we need to connect those people coming instead of running maybe to some of the other adjacent municipalities. We need them to stay here and spend their money here so our businesses can prosper. Like we see with the Daily Bean. I mean, it's one of the fastest growing, the place is packed all the time. It's just a great business. And at least that's my vision, those kind of mom and pop shops. They're just great places to sit there and talk to people, meet with people.
What do you think if we had to obtain the land to make it connect? I mean, it's nice to say we want to make it connect feasible.
We can. The biggest problem you're going to have is going from Maple Grange over to Vernon Crossings. Because there's one corporation that owns the property, they don't return phone calls, they're not interested in selling it. But I think it's 2 years ago, Green Acres bought the 66 acres, there's some 60-something acres behind the Trax Deli in there, so you connect there. I've talked to Heaven Hill, of course, they would give us an easement, I mean, Martin's all about that. So I think so, but it's going to take time. But to get out this end, once we hit through Black Creek Drive, then you're on to Mountain Creek property, and I've talked to the snow operations, Joe, and Joe's committed, he realizes the importance of hitting these shoulder seasons, the spring and the fall, making this successful, having this go. You can't just rely on skiing here, because we all know this is New Jersey. They're doing a great job with mountain biking, but not everybody wants to mountain bike. Like when I go to Steamboat, we rent our bikes and we just ride around the paths all through Steamboat and to the other communities stopping and stuff. So there will be a way to define this. I think I'm highly confident. Money's always been the problem. And this council has allowed the people to vote on this, and this starts us. We finally can truly start moving this forward. So I think definitely we can do this. At the county level, they're talking about going all the way to the Gap, because they have all those trail systems there. And they really don't spend much money maintaining them. I'm on them all the time. I was before I got my knee done. But, it's some days it's all mud, some days it's all shale. But we would want to maintain this, because I really think we have to make them so it's inclusive. And really for the older people like myself, or people with their knees being redone, mothers with strollers or dads with strollers, and I really want to get parts of its ADA compliant. Just like we talk about Special Olympics Month, we need to do this for the people in this town, so anybody can come here and enjoy the beauty of this town. We could work it there, but if on
What was
Black
that,
Creek
excuse me,
Drive,
parking, did you say?
you have the municipal lot here, but we also are looking to do a trailhead right at Black Creek Drive. You have that flat area that overlooks the valley. It wouldn't take much at all to put the
So is
park
that
there.
in with the,
Yeah, but I guess parking as you distribute it over the town, depending on where that's the whole idea, was over by the Appalachian Trail, by the boardwalk, it was just so congested. But the
Yes.
idea was to take it and start to spread it throughout the town with smaller little parking areas. This way, not everybody was just, going to one location.
I mean,
is
the
that
big
parking
dream,
in this projection already? This 170,000, is that in here, this projection?
I believe Corey did include it because it's not going to do much. And John, you're more familiar because it's the pit there on the back slope there, right off of Black Creek Drive. It's flat there and they have the mounds of dirt already piled up there. And you're only looking like 10 or 15 cars here. And what's great there is, it's not residential. It's township, but you're right into the town center and it's commercial. So what they do in other communities, it's 10 cars here, it's 5 cars here, and then it's connecting these commercial areas.
Park at PA, I'll tax after.
Here, across the street, they want to walk down this way, Black Creek Drive, and we're only talking a mile. Then you have also, if we get this little section here, now you're at Veterans Memorial Park. So you have all parking down there also.
That's not included in this.
No, but we're working on
thing.
obtaining that property. And again, it's just a matter of the legal work of getting it, if the county accepts it. And that's really where we're looking to have like an art park because of the old foundations down here. And that's where we applied for a grant 2 years ago, was that? 3 years ago, and we didn't get that grant. Thank you.
Next, we have our minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of January 28th, 2019, and the executive session minutes of January 28th, 2019. Were you here, Sandy?
No,
You abstain? Okay.
Make a motion.
Make the motion, I'll make the second. Roll call?
Councilmember Holmes? Councilmember Allberger?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes. Next, on the consent agenda, we have Resolution 1977, is appointments to the Land Use Board. This appoints Paul Mealy and Mark Vizzini to the Land Use Board. Resolution 1978, resolution awarding and ratifying a memorandum of understanding with the National Winter Activity Center for the use of the municipal parking lot. Resolution 1980, authorizing the use of open space funds for the construction and maintenance of the Vernon Township Center and bike and walking trail. May I have a motion to adopt resolutions 1977, 1978, and 1980?
Motion.
Have a second? Oh. Roll call?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 1977.
We have no ordinances for first reading. We have our ordinance for second reading, ordinance 1904. This ordinance is rescinding ordinance 1828 titled Ordinance Amending and Supplementing the Salary Ordinance for Non-Union Employees. This rescinds the ordinance establishing a stipend for the assistant to the acting CFO. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 1904?
Motion.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment on this ordinance? Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close to public?
Motion.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1904?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Holmes? Councilmember Allberger?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 1904.
Next, public comments. May I have a motion to open?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anyone from the public that would like to step forward? Have any comments? Seeing no one, may I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, mayoral appointments to the Greenway Advisory Committee. Did you have an appointment?
Bill Neves. Bill Neves, Will Neves. So I'd like, I was going to say it in my report right here, but if we can't do it now, we can do it the next meeting. But that's who I'd like to appoint.
Well, it's your appointment. Bill Nees? And now your mayor's report.
Okay, I met with partners of SoulCell. They're a grower and processor of hemp or CBD. It is a naturally occurring compound found in the flower of cannabis, a plant with a history of medicine going back thousands of years. Today, the therapeutic properties of CBD are being tested and confirmed by scientists and doctors around the world. SoulCell's business plan is aligned with medical and pharmacological disease treatment strategies. That means, unlike medical marijuana, SoulCell uses chemistry and biology to treat core body elements that do not disrupt mental capacity. It does not have that high THC in it. This will be an agricultural endeavor that could create as many as 40 jobs in our community. And then tomorrow I was going to meet with other developers for a solar project in town that are interested in leasing property from us. However, that meeting was canceled due to the weather. So we're trying to find different developers out there, different businesses, and bring them in. And then the other thing I just want to add at this time, I'm going to be going to Trenton on Thursday, and I hope to offer testimony to the Senate subcommittee. They're looking, again, it's finally out of committee, Bill 1863, the dirty dirt broker law. And I am going to testify before the Senate, if they recognize me, and tell them what we've gone through up here in Vernon over this whole thing on Silver Spruce. And hopefully, they'll enact the present bill that they're looking at and some new legislation that I've been asking for to criminalize such behavior, so our municipal police department can take action to stop any future instances like this. I think we got to draw the line in the sand right now. If we don't stop it here in Vernon, it could spread throughout this county or the whole Northwest. It could go right into Warren County, but we need to be the front line on this and stop this. And that's it, so thank you.
On Thursday, you're going, did you say down to Trenton?
Down to Trenton.
And what is it, that's the Senate? And what time are they?
Yes, they're having a subcommittee hearing on this, and Mike and I are going to go down and offer testimony.
And what time is that?
It's at 10 o'clock.
Council comments. Councilmember Allberger?
As far as like you were talking about DPW doing parking lot on top of the Black Creek, you have the equipment, you have the materials down there. It probably wouldn't even cost us just the time for the men, because a lot of the stuff that we already have, it's a great spot. It overlooks across the Sand Hill and Vernon View Farm, the Walker Farm. It's a great spot. And there's an old roadway that used to go, when you're down there at that site where the solar panels, that field, there's that line of cedars to the south. There used to be an old road that cut down through to the bottom to the swamp on that. You can probably catch that, and like you were saying about not cutting down trees, what you would come across are a lot of saplings opposed to old growth. So I can see a lot of benefits down there, so more power.
Thank you. The committees have really worked hard, and the volunteers, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's when I talk to people. They use Maple Grange. They would love another spot to go to, and it helps, like you were saying, the businesses. If we're able to get that other property that the tracks on one end, the other restaurants right down there at the bottom of Black Creek, it's a benefit to them because there's more traffic coming in and out. So it's positive.
Councilmember Ohms?
Yeah, just a few things. Did you take the meetings down off the website in subsequent years? Oh, okay. So they're not next to the...
Not like next to, it's not next to that, you have to click on it and then
Okay.
click on it.
Okay, thank you. That was one question. And then the second, I know when, with Mountain Creek, we moved all our money around. Remember? We voted to pull out the money out of the line items. Okay. So can I get a narrative report of what we took out, what we did with it? Did we pay part of that towards the... But I just want it in writing, if you could just explain to me what the money trail from that money we moved out. That's all, I'm just writing in an email. And a little report, I think I can ask for that. That's one of our things. So just a little narrative of the money trail.
And if you just send that to the, well, if you send it to the clerk,
Yes,
the clerk will send it to the...
Everybody will get it.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you.
Couple things. The building department, they released that spatial data. The public has access to the records to see whether or not their permits are ready, or have received positive feedback. Positive feedback. As a matter of fact, just because I was there and I just happened to, I did tell the employee, I said, by the way, positive feedback. and they said actually it's helping, because what's happened is, I know there's some real estate agents that are out there that do use this a lot. And even in my own office, when they're like, okay, I'm going to call, I'm like, don't call without looking online first, because, it's a very good tool to use, and it cuts down on Oprah requests or just taking them away from, having to leave messages or call people back. So like I said, it's received a lot of good feedback, which is good. And I know that they're going to be releasing things, on a limited basis, just so people get used to it. So that's a good thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is I had a conversation last week with a couple, with Lisa Plevin and Jim Humphreys from the Highlands Council. And it really had to do with, the issues that we're dealing with here in Vernon. And although they cannot necessarily, they do not really have the power to do anything, they are trying to act as a support mechanism, which is good. So they're actually, like I said, if we have questions on anything, we do have a resource to go to. So I did, like I said, want to, just get some information on exemptions and things of that nature with the Highlands. So they were very helpful with that. And the last thing is, we'll be scheduling budget meetings. Like I said, we'll have one this Friday for a few of the departments, but then we'll be scheduling, some of the larger departments over the next couple weeks, once I get together with the council members to see when everybody's available. And Fridays is at 1. Fridays is at 1, but probably don't think it'll last more than maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on, the number of departments that we'll be doing. Because we'll probably, like I said, ask for, trying to think, maybe recreation, clerk's office, maybe, finance. Administration's not going to, maybe the mayor and council, so just get some of those, maybe fire prevention, we could do that, so. Other than that, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Two.
Meeting adjourned.